Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kendall, and this is the Education Firm podcast. I got to get used to looking at my camera. This is the Education Firm podcast where we discuss any and everything that is educational. In this case, we are talking about racism and accountability in light of the story behind Colby Barker. Now, I've covered this story here about a couple months ago, back in September, where, there was an incident that occurred between him and a white male student, and there was some derogatory um, names that occurred in that whole situation. We're going to get into that because I'm going to recap what happened. And so let's get started with that. Discipline of a fellow student. Just a little backstory here. About 3 days ago, a student by the name of Colby Barker, who is biracial, was defending a group of girls who have been sexually assaulted multiple times by this white male student. Colby was met face to face with this white male student, and the white male student called him an ugly, dirty N-word. I can imagine that there was probably a tussle and a brawl after that word exchange because, yes, there would have been a brawl. But Colby, the biracial student, ended up with a 7-day suspension. He returns back to school this coming Monday. But the white student who issued out that racial slur received no punishment. Now, before this tussle, before this brawl, Colby took to the administrative office the details of what was going on, and he gave them a warning. If you don't do anything about this, I will be forced to take this into my own hands. Ladies and gentlemen, the administrative office did nothing about it. I'm going to read to you what Colby says happened about the situation. I went up to him, very friendly. I told him, just stay away from them. That's it. But instead of retreating, the predator student escalated the situation, hurling violent hate speech at me in front of my classmates. He called me an ugly, dirty N-word. I'm just going to say that word because people need to know what he said. You can't just run around saying that word. This predator student also made chilling threats, saying that if he catch one of the girls going to the bathroom, he was going to have his way with her. This is happening in high school now. High school. So the administrative office did nothing about it. Colby took the matter in his own hands to defend these girls. Colby got a 7-day suspension. The white student, nothing. No consequence. This reminds me of a story that I did some time ago at Shawnee Mission East High School, also in Kansas, that dealt with a white student issuing a racial slur to a black female student, and he actually fights her and breaks her nose. There's a serious racist issue going on in Kansas, and it needs to be dealt with amongst the school system. It's a disease, and if it does not come to a stop, I'm afraid that someone is going to get hurt. As a result of these events that transpired, students walked out of the school on yesterday in protest of their fellow student because they were not in agreement with the consequence of Colby Barker. The Park Hill School District issued this statement. We were present for the walkout this afternoon yesterday at Park Hill High School to ensure a safe environment for our students and staff. We were also there to listen to our students. We've been working through the context around the walkout for the past few days and have been listening to multiple perspectives. It's important that we provide space to listen and learn together. Any investigations we work through that involve student discipline are confidential due to many considerations. While we like to be able to provide more context about specific situations, we just aren't able to as we honor students' confidentiality. This again comes from the Park Hill School District. I'm just going to say this. This is 2024. We are not going for these racial slurs anymore. If you say it, you're liable to get your ass whooped. Just plain and simple. We don't do that no more. We don't put up with that kind of disrespect no more. You say it, you'll be dealt with. That's just what it is. These schools, these parents need to have conversations with their children on how to be respectful to one another. This is another case about holding these parents responsible for the actions of their children. It is clear that this white male student's parents engraved all of that hatred for a biracial, half-black male student to spew all of that hatred out on him in front of his classmates. That's absurd. That is ridiculous. Parents, you are responsible for how your children treat people. Yeah, they're not around you all the time, but they're with you most of the time. And what you teach them, what you instill in them comes out when they are away from you. If you have hate speech towards another race, parent, and your child hears that, they're going to adapt that same behavior when they go where they are going. Stop it. Raise your children better. Have some dignity. Have some respect for one another. We don't play these games no more. And I hope Colby Barker's parents sue this school because he was defending these girls. He wasn't the problem. The white male student was the problem. He was also the one that was sexually assaulting these girls. And you mean to tell me that you let the white male student go scot-free? Oh, hell no. Park Hill, I see a lawsuit coming for you. This is an update. What? I guess you can call it an update concerning Park Hill High School student Colby Barker, who was in a little situation with a white male student who also had some issues with sexual harassment towards some girls at the school. Colby Barker defended those girls and stood up against the student. That white male student then hurled off a racial slur to Colby. Colby then pinned the student up against the wall and was suspended for 7 days. There has been no word on whether the white male student who hurled the racial slur was suspended at all. Just a question though, since this incident occurred, has there been any changes made? Has there been any progression? Has any student of color felt like they have a sense of belonging there now? Has there been any training on anti-racism with the students and with the teachers and the staff there since this incident so that they can begin to improve their reputation? Yes, Park Hill High School in Kansas City, Missouri, I got it right this time, has a history of racism starting back from 2021 where there was a petition going around the school that had signatures that was specifying the return of slavery. And then following that, there was also a math teacher and a basketball coach that used this derogatory term, the N-word, towards a black student. And the reason why they did that is because they were questioning the black student for using that term. Since this incident in 2021, Park Hill High School promised to make their school safer and more inclusive to give students of color a sense of belonging where they can learn and feel safe. The question of the day is, has Park Hill High School improved? As of 3 weeks ago, with the situation with Colby Barker and this white male student who is also a bully to women at the school and sexually assaulting them, I don't think so. Just stop with the promises. Just do it. This has to start with a change in how you do everything. You need to incorporate anti-racism into the curriculum. Firstly, the teachers and the administrative staff need to go through a training on anti-racism. They also need to go to a training on how to work with different types of people that are of different cultures and ways of life so that they can understand them and become more human and love people for who they are. And I'm all for giving people chances, but this school has a reputation of racism. I think it's time to clean house. I think it's time to get rid of everyone and just start over with a clean slate and change the reputation of the school. But I'm also for giving people chances. Put these teachers and this staff through this training, this anti-racism training. If they do not improve, I say then get rid of them, clean house, start over, and change the trajectory of Park Hill High School in Kansas City, Missouri. That is how it's going to have to go. It's going to have to start from the top down. These changes have to be made. And also, parents, you have to do your part too. You also need to go through some anti-racism training. You also need to understand different kinds of people and their culture and their ways of life. The world does not revolve around just one particular skin color. The world is mixed with all kinds of different shades of brown. Yes, my Caucasian people, you are a shade of brown. None of us are separated from each other. We all bleed the same. We all sneeze the same. We all cry. We all laugh. We are all the same. Y'all gotta stop with this racist stuff. This is not the 1940s and 1950s and 1960s. This is 2024. We don't go for that no more. This needs to stop before someone seriously gets hurt. Has anyone heard from Colby? I would like to know, has the atmosphere at that school changed since this incident? I would like to know. Has anyone heard from him? I would like to talk to him. Someone get him in contact with me. I would like to know. Park Hill High School students walk. Excuse that mix up. And ladies and gentlemen, Colby Barker is here in the studio with me, and we are going to have the conversation and we're going to catch up and get some updates. And just so you know, everything that I said in both of these videos, I mean it to my core. Park Hill has some changes that they have to go through, and we're going to find out from Colby if Park Hill has done it. So without further ado, welcome Mr. Colby Barker to the stage. How you doing, Colby?
Good. How about you?
Good to see you. So tell me what's going on. How has it been for you since September when all of this popped off?
All right. So obviously the people that has followed my story, they know I had to transfer from Park Hill. Park Hill, I only went back for one day. And then basically when I went back, they were treating me like a convict. And that's probably the best words I could put it in there. I had to be transported everywhere by a teacher, looked over my shoulder the entire day. There's multiple witnesses. So the staff just told me, without actually telling me, that I had a target on my back. They prohibited me from going to any protest at all. And they just made it known that if I was to stay there, that they're gonna try and hit me with the book every chance they get. I've been keeping up with the news. There's only been one news report since then, I'm pretty sure. And Park Hill High School staff pressured an ethnic student, who they quote unquote says the leader of the ethnic community, made them go on record with Fox 4, saying Park Hill's not racist. Now, when I left Park Hill, there was no committee and I was trying to put a committee together. Um, and now all of a sudden, this person who's we all Park Hill all of a sudden has a committee and has appointed this one person who is the only person going on file that says Park Hill is not racist. So yeah.
Do you
Um
do you think Park Hill did that in light of your situation, just so that they won't receive such a blunt force blow with media and all of the such relating to the situation that happened with you?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, how I feel, everything got swept under the rug. Um, they haven't covered it. Um, the truth is, I got ran out of town by Park Hill staff, by haters, by people coming up to a home I was staying at. I've lost bridges. I had bridges burned down because I stood up. I had people hating on me saying I'm doing this for 15 minutes of fame. Um, I was ran out of town. There's rumors I had a green light on my head, probably still have it on. Rumors of that kid's dad having Italian mob connections. And I want to make this point right now that that kid's still in Park Hill School District. Park Hill lied to Fox 4. He's at Park Hill South now. He's not at Park Hill, but he's at Park Hill South. And as far as I know, he's not received any discipline. And,
Okay, so you're saying this whole time, even back in September, when you were the one that got the 7-day suspension,
yeah,
nothing happened at all to this other student. Like nothing. It just
absolutely,
continued.
absolutely nothing as far as I know. When I was there, he got nothing. He stayed at home because I plastered his name all over. I'm not saying that was right, but he waited, and then I cannot speak if Park Hill South did something, but they're under the same administration. And looking at back at those videos, yeah, my same message was clean house, gotta clean house.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree because especially now with what you're telling me, that nothing was done. And it seems to me how you're explaining this situation to me. It seems like I have a hunch, and you tell me if I'm right. It seems like there is a rich kid that goes to, or that was at Park Hill, but now he's at another school within the Park Hill district. Seems like it's a case of a rich kid who comes from a rich family, and that family, in some way or another, funds Park Hill School District.
that hitting it
So,
on the head. Absolutely.
so in this case, that student gets to do what he wants to do.
Yep.
And that's sad. That's sad how that is how things go. You know,
Yeah.
just because you're quote unquote have status quo or whatever, that does not give you the right to be rude. It does not give you the right to harass people. This
Absolutely.
guy, this student was going around the school, harassing the girls. And
Exactly.
and the girls themselves have even said that they were uncomfortable around this guy.
Absolutely.
But Park Hill has done nothing about it.
Nothing.
To this
Uh,
day, even with me researching, I have been researching on Park Hill since September at the inception of this story, and there has been zero updates. No updates.
like I
So
said, they swept it under the rug.
yeah,
They're
so
covering it up.
hearing from you, Colby, This is the first update since September that, we all are just now hearing about. And that's crazy. And it just solidifies everything that I spoke about in these videos earlier.
Yeah.
Park Hill does not care about their students of color. Park Hill only cares about their reputation. They only care about, who has their support. Obviously, it's, them kind of people
Yeah.
that the student comes from, And truth be told, with Park Hill, racism is embedded from the top of the administration
Exactly.
all the way down.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't like that, there would be some changes right after this incident. You know,
Even before that, they had chances to change it before that.
yeah,
A few years ago, the teacher and stuff.
yeah,
They had a chance.
yeah, because they have a reputation way back from 2021 or possibly even earlier of racist, things going on at the school, and this is the thing. This is the thing. In order for things to change, in order for things to get better, in order for things to heal these societal ills, there has to be exposure.
Exactly.
You know, Nothing can heal without exposure. And I also want to go back and say this, something my mentor, Larry D. Reed, said. He said that we are all shades of brown. It doesn't matter what skin color you are a derivative of the color brown. We all came from the color brown. There's no race that's better than the other. You know, we know how it's been depicted, in history, way back from the transatlantic slave trade and how racism has evolved into what it is today. It affects our criminal justice system, where African Americans are 5 times more, prominent to get incarcerated than our
Yeah.
white brothers and sisters. It affects the housing situations, because homeowner association that was created, to keep African Americans out of certain neighborhoods. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but that is how the HOA thing came into play. And it affects our school system, where we know there's not enough funding in predominantly black um, zip codes and schools.
Yeah.
You know, it just affects everything. And I don't have a lot of time to go into, the whole teaching aspect of racism and all of that. But it's just there has to be exposure, and Colby is here along with me to bring exposure to this issue. And I want to ask you a series of questions, Colby.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this particular question, and then we'll lead into something else. I want you to go back to that day. Take us back into your mind to that day of what occurred, and tell us how it made you feel.
Yeah. So, a little bit of background. This kid had multiple reports on him in the last few years. Not just 1 year, last few years. He's been terrorizing people in this district for, years on end. So I filed a report against him. You on the video said, I filed a report. He was harassing this girl I knew, and basically, I told him, do something or I'm gonna be forced to do it. And a couple weeks went by. He didn't do anything until that day. He's always been known to be a predator. Um, and he told that girl that he's a dirty N-word. So I confronted him about it, and he told me to shut up, dirty N-word. I'll take that girl in the bathroom, make sure I have my way with her, and that's a rape threat.
Right.
And then after that, it was the physical confrontation between us, and I got suspended for 7 school days, which was almost two and a half weeks. I was suspended from the football team as well. I was accepted back for that one day before I had to transfer. After standing up, I was put out. I lost everything for standing up. I lost so many bridges. I lost friends. And all those people that said that they would be there for me when the time came, I was all alone. And when I decided to step down from being this this black figure, people turned on me, and then supporters just kind of turned their backs on me. And then people, there's always people saying I'm only doing this for fame, stretching it out, and it really has to beg the question, if I was a white kid standing up, would I get the same hate? We'll never know that, but I absolutely disagree that that wouldn't. When I did host protests, I was threatened that the police would get involved and I would be trespassed. The students were threatened with disciplinary action if they went to the walkout. They did host an indoor walkout. I had nothing to do with that. They did that because they said if people go outside and come visit with me, they will be suspended. And then they changed their story again, saying truancy, changed it again, saying absence. The people that went to the walkout in the auditorium, they got locked in there. There's videos. Yeah, so they're going to have a couple lawsuits coming. Yeah.
Hold that thought there, Colby. In my first video, when I mentioned the walkout, none of what you just said was anything like what the staff of Park Hill said, because they gave a statement. So they are covering this thing up the whole time, making it seem like they are understanding of the students' feelings, and they're very concerned about their safety. But on the other side, they're doing this.
Exactly. When I went back, I was a convict to them. I was a ticking time bomb. Like I said, they put a target on my back. If I did anything, I had to be transported classroom to classroom like I was a convict. So,
how did that make you feel to be treated that way? How did that make you feel?
Honestly, felt humiliating. Felt like that no one respected me. It felt like I wasn't even a human to them. Felt like I was more of a con, and it sucked. It was really bad. But I do want to hit this on the nose. It's bigger than just Park Hill and Park Hill South, because it's rooted in Platte County. Platte County Juvenile Office tried to have a meeting with me, and my father's in law enforcement. He figured out from the meeting that was a trap to get me in handcuffs in Platte County to send me to juvenile prison. and my court date would have been unknown. So
Send you to juvenile prison for defending, coming to
yeah,
someone's aid who needed help.
the
I'm going
official
to put
charges was
you.
battery, uh, aggravated assault, and battery. That's what they were trying to get me on. I never entered. I still haven't entered Platte County since then. And I. She said, write a letter saying you're sorry. All I put was sorry, sent it in. I haven't heard anything since. I've been scared to go in Platte County. Well, not scared is not the word. It's more concerned because I haven't heard anything. Just turned 18 yesterday. And
Happy
honestly,
birthday.
yeah, thank you. Honestly, I could have a warrant out and we could never know until that one day I decide to step back in Platte County, and then it's just blown out proportion. It's on my record, and yeah. And part of the reason why I had to leave Park Hill is death threats.
Getting death threats.
The kid and his friends, and then the kid's father is known to be part of the Italian mob. Allegedly, I can't confirm or deny that. But I did get a warning before I left that I had a green light out on my head. I don't know how much. I don't know who. I don't know where. And I had nowhere else to go. At my deepest, I had nothing. Hit rock bottom. Lost everything. And my dad came up and swooped me up, and he's in law enforcement. So he said, "Come here, I'll protect you." He's kept his word. Me and him butted heads for a little while about this. We still butt heads about it because he doesn't feel like I should be taking it because it puts my life in danger. He felt like even taking this interview was like pulling teeth with him. But he loves me. He absolutely loves me. He's like, I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing, but son, you got to realize you're putting your life out on the line for a fight that's older than us both combined. And, you have to think about, your future. You have to think about everyone in this house. He said, he would support me if I kept on going. And, he's a law enforcement, so he's not worried about anything. Yeah. Like people come into the house, he can handle that. Right. But, he loves me, dude. And I just want to hit he from rock bottom. He absolutely loves me. It's not as passionate to him. He doesn't see that it's, a thing that I can put my life on the line for. He's like, oh, he supports it, but he wants to keep me safe. That's his number one concern at the end of the day. But I told him that he has to realize that I gotta change the world, and I've found Christ since I've been going to church. I've been a good part of this community at Nevada. I do want to note, even small town stereotypes that racism. Let me tell you, there's Nevada High School. Got people there love me. There's racism everywhere. It's embedded everywhere. There's a couple of hiccups, but Nevada High School is 1,000 times better than Park Hill. I don't have to worry about people saying the N-word. Nevada cracks down heavily on racism. And the principal there also, like, we talked about what happened at Park Hill, and he's like, you both should have been suspended. I'm like, I agree. he's like, what happened there isn't right, but here, you don't have to worry about that, and here we'll actually listen to you. So coming to Nevada has bettered my life. It's less racism, but man, it's hard leaving Park Hill behind. But since I'm back on my 2 feet, I have been in contact with KC Defender, and I do plan on coming back to Kansas City very, very soon, sooner than people think. And I have joined the Kansas City, Missouri Black Leaders Community with the KC Defender. My first meeting is Monday. I am also taken over officially as suing Park Hill High School for discrimination lawsuit. My name's officially on the paperwork. I'm 18.
Great. I was going to ask you about that because I did mention that you should sue. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And I heard through a little birdie that the NAACP is involved as well.
Yep, they're handling it all for me.
Great.
Love it. Nimrod Chappell from Jefferson City. Yeah, he's been my guy. He's busy. It's hard to get texting between him and but he's been handling it all for me. And he's been protecting the case like it's a baby ever since then. He's like, don't say anything that'll throw us off, and he also is trying to give me patience because he's like, these things take a long time. I'm like, so when are trial dates? And he's like, we don't even have them yet. So,
well, I want to say this, Colby, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you did not fold. I'm proud that you stood up for what you believe in and you continue to stand up for what you believe in. I am proud that you are being a voice to your generation, about these kinds of disparities and things going on in education that affect people who look like you. So I'm happy that you are being an activist in this way, and hey, man, take it all the way, man. Take it all the way, don't let up. Keep it going until you see the change that you want to see, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. But the message has changed since I stood up for Park Hill. There's not racism in every school district, but around the world, especially the United States, all hands on deck. We have to change for the generations coming up. We cannot have people, being biased because they have money. Once our education determines our future, whether we like it or not.
Absolutely.
And if we have people that are biased against us at those low levels of education, then of course, half of our race is going to drop out. Half of our race is going to end up in prison. Half of our race is going to be teen pregnancy. Our race is going to think that school isn't going to matter because the system's already stacked against us since we entered preschool.
Absolutely.
So, it's bigger than Park Hill, but someone needs to look at Platte County because here in Vernon County would never happen. The juvenile office at Platte County, sounds like they were heavily biased against me. even having me write sorry for, just to get them off my back, that's disrespectful,
And they were being bullies. They were being bullied.
Yeah, yeah. You know, yeah, like I said, I do plan on hosting press conferences if needed after the trial dates. Um, and coming back to Kansas City with that KC Black leader community,
Mhm.
you know, I'm coming back. And everyone that is biased against our race, I just want to know your guys' days are limited with your job, because I'm planning to study education, and any district I go, I will call it out. You know, um, yeah, I think we need change in Kansas City. You
Absolutely.
know, every day since I left there, I'm like, man, I should have done more. And I pray to God. I'm like, God, show me a way. God, show me what I'm meant for. And
Mhm.
the place where I was at from when I first got to Nevada, I couldn't lead at all. I've been, now I'm experienced, and God is the only person that has put me in this predicament, and He's shown me what I need to change. He's telling me that I cannot bow down, just like how everyone wants me to. And everyone told me it's not my fight, but at the end of the day, I can't look myself in the mirror and give up like I did.
Yeah.
Uh, just like Park Hill and Platte County, they won round one. I'll give them that. But I'm coming back. I'm coming back with a committee. You know, I'm staying in Nevada High School for second semester, even though I don't need to. I'm actually becoming a teacher's aide next semester.
Great.
Yeah, so let me backtrack a little bit. When I first got here, I started assistant coaching the fourth graders. Um, we lost our Super Bowl. My little brother's a fourth grader, so after practice and stuff like that, I would go out to his practices, and then with the coaches, I would go out there and mentor the kids, and coaching and being a teacher. I just recently started teaching and just giving guidance as a teacher. Teaching a fifth grader how to do fractions. I didn't think I would ever be able to do that, but when I got her to understand fractions, I was proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for everyone that's still following me, that's still backing me up, our time's coming. I we're gonna make change. Trust me. I'm excited for this KC Missouri Black community with KC Defender. I'm so excited because I'm back in the fight, and I've matured a lot since I got from Park Hill, and I've been media trained, believe it or not. Um, but yeah, I'm ready.
I
So
can imagine how in Park Hill's environment weighed on you mentally. Um, thank God you're in a better headspace and
yeah,
things now. But in Park Hill, I can imagine you were probably more angry than you ever been.
yeah,
Probably had some depression in there. You
yeah,
probably had your environment really can affect you, whether if it's negative or positive. So I'm glad that you left that negative space and you're into something positive, and it's causing you to do more positive things, not only to help yourself, but to help other people. And, and this is what it's about. When you come through something, when you come through a certain trial or a situation, you can use that experiential knowledge that you gained, and you can in turn help someone else. You know, so for anyone, wherever you are, because my audience is pretty vast, wherever you are, if you are dealing with a situation as like Colby was dealing with, I do know of someone who I don't know if she still goes to Shawnee Mission East High School, but that's also in Kansas City, and they have some racist things going on there at that school. She's an African American female who had her nose broken by a white male student. So, I mean, if you're someone like her, or if you're someone like Colby, and you've been dealing with things like this, use your voice, speak out about it. You know, don't let things go unsaid. Don't let things go undone. Don't let the opportunity for change not come because you're not using your voice to speak. And so I'm glad that you, Kobe, are using your voice, and you've got a whole bunch of other voices rallied with you to get this message out, to really make a point that, hey, you can't do that to me anymore. Y'all did that to my ancestors. You can't do that to me anymore. I'm not going to have that, you know? And so it's time that these changes be made. And it's time that our schools and our administrative staff and our Board of Education get the proper training that they need to have to handle these kinds of situations. I mean, put yourself through anti-racism training. Do it for a couple of weeks. You know, give it to your staff. Have them go through that. Y'all hold meetings, hold conferences. These things have to happen in our schools if, number one, we want to have a safe environment. We also need to incorporate social emotional learning in our curriculum. What is that? That teaches our students how to empathize with one another, how to understand someone who is different from them. How to not only love yourself for who you are, but love someone else that's different than you for who they are. This is what social emotional learning is. You know, it also will teach you how to handle your emotions, how to be mentally healthy. This is what we need to incorporate in our curriculums, teachers, educators, professors. You know, we have to have this in our school to teach our students as well as ourselves as the staff, so that we don't have to deal with these kinds of things in our school buildings anymore. You know, now, Kobe, and as we come to a close now,
Yeah.
I want you to, what do you hope to see in the near future as relates to you moving forward with this lawsuit and the NAACP, and getting and connecting with the KC folks there? How do you see things happening in the future?
Just change. We we have to have all hands on deck, Racism goes everywhere. It's not just African Americans. There's an instance that, Samoan people, I had a Samoan friend, I'm also part of Samoan heritage. People are talking bad on his bloodline, that means very sincere to us,
Yeah.
and Samoans are known to get angry pretty fast, and things get escalated, yeah, and it's not just African Americans, it's all types of racism everywhere.
Mm.
It's even white on white racism now. You if
I've
you're
heard
white,
that.
yeah, if you are white and you hang out with black people, you're ghetto, or you're, quote unquote, call you a wigga.
Yeah.
It's black on black hating too. Most of my haters are African American, and that hurts
That's
me
interesting.
deeply.
That's interesting because you are advocating. You're advocating for people of color, and that includes African Americans. And so they're hating on you too. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's just the some haters who like, looking at my profile picture. There's been people in my comments saying, "Oh, you're just a thug," or "No one should believe you." We have to break the cycle. We have to fight for not just education but overall racism.
Yes.
I have family members that tell me that racism, there's not as much racism as you think. I'm glad that there's not much racism around you, but we cannot ignore the parts where there is racism. You
Yeah.
know, we have to
It's
break the cycle.
underlining. It's underlining. You won't be able to detect it as easily if if you like, let's say say for example, if you're someone like my skin color, right? It's it's easier to detect for me, you know, but someone else who's more fair skinned, it's may not be that detectable for them, you know,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, man,
yeah,
change starts with a conversation. Change
yeah,
starts with a
yeah.
conversation, and it continues with a series of conversations. So anytime, Kobe, that you want to come on and talk, man, this platform is here for you. Um, yeah, man. And I am also someone who advocates for change, in whatever capacity, although I work in the educational field, I'm advocating for equality, and proper safety in our schools, and just all around focusing on this well-being of the student,
Yeah,
because the student is what's important. If we don't have students, we don't have a school,
yeah,
you know and so I'm advocating for it, and I'm not going to stop. I know you're not going to stop, and I know that the ones that are watching, you're advocating. So let's continue to stand up for change, even if we got to stand by ourselves. Someone is going to eventually come and stand in the fight next to us. And there's more power in numbers.
yeah,
You know, two minds, 50 minds are better than 10. If we all come together on one accord with change at the forefront of our minds, we can make the change that needs to be made to move us forward into a better future. We just have to stay the course. It may look like it may be rough sometimes, life isn't easy.
yeah,
We got to fight just like our forefathers, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. just to name a few. They fought for us to have certain rights. Now it's time for us to fight so that we can get the rights that we need to have, and the people that's coming behind us won't have to deal with none of this.
Yeah,
You know? So, Kobe, thank you so much for coming on
of course.
and giving us an update of what has been going on with you and Park Hill High School. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for hitting me up. I was in Africa when you sent me the message that you saw the video and that you were ready to talk, man. So we had to make it happen. We had to make it happen, and I'm
Yeah.
glad we did. But man, thank you so much for coming on. And this platform is always open to you anytime that you want to use it. You just let me know, man, and we'll get it set up for you.
Thank you. Just a couple points as we're coming to a close. There has been several situations at Park Hill. I felt like that we haven't covered. There's been several situations where Park Hill has protected predators. You know, and if they're protecting predator students, then how much of the staff is predators there? You know, and
Right.
I'm pretty sure if they're protecting sexual assault for students, it has to raise question marks if how many sexual assault victims are from teachers or administration or board members,
Yeah,
And my last point before, everything, we're just getting started, baby.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, let's get it.
Yeah. And this is why there needs to be a full open investigation into Park Hill. And I would go and to say the entire Park Hill school district. There needs to be an investigation into the staff, you know, why the staff acts the way they act, why they are slow or no response to anything. There needs to be a full investigation. Find out who they are protecting. Find out what these people's reputations are and why they are doing what they are doing. Who has something hanging over their head to where they can't do what's right? These things need to be uncovered. And I'm just going to say this: if nothing changes at all with not just Park Hill High School, but any school in the Park Hill district,
Right.
if nothing changes, fire them.
Exactly. No.
Replace all of them with
Yeah.
people who understand the day and the age and the time that we live in now.
Yeah.
We don't live in the 1940s and the 1950s and the 1960s. We live in a very progressive technological age now where any and everything that we want, we can have at our fingertips. That's where we live now. Any and everything can happen in this age that we live now, you know. So we need to have people in their proper place that can lead us into our future.
Exactly.
And right now, Park Hill, what y'all are doing is not it. It's not it. Y'all not focused on the future. Y'all not focused on moving forward. Y'all focused on keeping us stunted and keeping us in a certain spot that we are no longer in. And you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that when you are caring for people's children in your building for 8 hours a day. You can't do that. You can't do that. Get up with the times. Okay? Get up with the times. Now, Kobe, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you for joining me today.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been great, man. And
Yeah.
you guys that are watching, feel free to like and share and comment. You know, we're probably both going to be in the comment section at some point, you know, so leave a comment. We'll get back to you. And let's just keep this conversation going because one conversation is not enough. This
Exactly.
is the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, we're
All
just getting.
right.
Of
We're
course.
just getting started. Thank you so much, Colby, man. I appreciate you so much.
Of course.